Welcome back. So we have some progress made on this engine. It's now 11:45 Eastern Standard Time. I found out that the bolt that I thought was for this clutch was half an inch too long, and so I spent 5-10 minutes up in the barn looking in the parts. I'm really glad we have a lot of spare parts, because this bolt fit is the correct bolt for the Salisbury clutch. And stupid me didn't look up the specifications for this engine very well, because the 400 engines changed between 1971 and 1972. In 1971, when this engine was made, this Kairitz model KEC340 was made. It was made with a 25 millimeter shaft on the PTO clutch side, as well as a 25 millimeter shaft on the magneto recoil side. For whatever reason, they changed that, and I don't know why, and it confused the heck out of me, because the 1973 models had a 30 millimeter shaft on this side and a 25 millimeter on this side. Two different size crank seals. I'm not sure about the bearings. Bearings might be different too. I don't know. But I didn't realize that there was both 25 on this one. I figured it was either the different ones, the two separate ones. So on the internet, it listed the 400 engine, so I went along with it being a 400 engine. But I was mistaken, because it's a 71 400, not a 72, 73 400. So I had to order more crank seals from New Breed Parts, and I'm glad they arrived today or yesterday in the mail. I was very happy, because I came out here today and put them in it. So I had to take this clutch back off, but it wasn't very hard. It was quite easy, because New Breed also sent Salisbury clutch puller. Awesome tool. Very happy with it. I shouldn't have been so cheap. I should have just bought it, and I did, and I'm so happy with this. I took the old bolt out that didn't fit, put this thing on, and just hit it with the Johnson bar slowly, and it worked great. I'm so happy with it. And if I have to, again, I'll use this Comet clutch puller, which I'm also happy I bought, because, well, I'll get to that later. Why I'm going to be happy we have that. But anyway, this has new crank seals now. It has this new used clutch on it, Salisbury clutch on it. The original clutch is supposed to be on it. See how long it lasts. It has the new points and condenser, which I had to reset because I had to take everything off to put the new seal on. Stupid crank seals. Hate those stupid things. This thing's all back together. I broke a stupid recoil bolt, housing bolt, putting it on, so I found some other ones. They're a different type of bolt. They're an inside hex head bolt They worked, so I got 4 bolts on there. Got spark on both spark plugs. And the last video I posted had this thing running. And since then, I've replaced the crank seals properly, and everything's working now. Just miserable, but I'm happy that everything's back together. I'm not going to do it tonight. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to clean those tins up, paint them, let them dry, put them on. With that new electric starter on there, then this engine should be good after get everything put on it. Should be good. I'll put new gas line, new line to there. That should be good. I'm going to take the other engine out of it, the 440 Kawasaki Fireburst from the Trail Fire. Take that out of the 400, put this thing in it. Well, actually, I'm going to put the drive shaft with the drive cogs, the cog shaft, in the 400 first. Then I'm going to put this in it. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to be miserable. Anyway, the reason I'm going to need this. The 1982 John Deere Trailfire LX, after many hours of riding 2 weeks ago, cracked a piston. My dad was driving it around and drove it around for too long. Got hot. And nobody cleaned the carb this year. Nobody went through it and checked anything out. So the carb was all screwy. It was running too lean. It wasn't smoking at all. That's another good giveaway. If it's smoking, it's either too rich or it's just right. If it's not smoking, check your carburetor. When we were first driving the Spitfire, 340 Spitfire, it definitely had trouble starting until a guy at church said, and I quote, "Did you try any WD-40 in it?" No, I didn't, Chris. I didn't. But guess what I did? The minute we got home, got back here, dumped a bunch of WD-40 into the jet holes. Oh, this is just an example, but there's the jets on the top of the carburetor on the Spitfire. I screwed the jets in to count how many screw turns they were in. And the rule of thumb is a turn and a quarter. A turn and a quarter for your mixture screw jetting. Don't turn it in anymore. And just turn it out slowly as needed. Well, that thing was turned out quarter of a turn. Quarter of a turn. It was running way too lean. And that's why the Spitfire wasn't starting very well. So, took the jet out and sprayed a bunch of WD-40 through it. Took every bit out, every screw that moved. Counted how many turns it was in. Sprayed WD-40 in everywhere. Put everything back in. Turned the jet out 1 full turn and 1/4 turn. And that thing fired on the first pull. So check your carburetors. Check them. Even if you had them stored for the winter and no one else touched them, just for the love of anything, just check them. You never know. Spray some WD-40 in them, clean them up. So the LX is going to need a rebuild. That's why I'm glad I got this puller. It'll be a lot easier to pull the engine out when you can take the clutch off. Anyway, that's that. This Citation, when we got it, when I first brought it home, my friends helped me put it in the driveway. And at 4 a.m. when I picked my parents up from the airport, my dad walks down the laneway and looks at this Ski-Doo Citation. First thing he says, "Those skis are bent." This is at 4 a.m. I don't care. I really don't care right now. So I don't really worry about it. We drove it around for a while. This thing was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. It was that's the wrong one. It was, which one was it? Left ski. Left ski, towed in by 4 inches. So this thing was terrible to drive. It was awful. And I was going to come out here yesterday, and I left this thing in the shop. I was going to work on it yesterday, but I didn't come back out to the farm until today. And by the time I got here, my grandfather already had taken it completely apart and fixed it. And I was planning on fixing it. I like fixing things. But he completely took it apart and fixed it. And I was very grateful for that. So I'm really happy. And I just primed the fuel lines and started on one pull. Went out for a little drive, and it was amazing. It was like, New snowmobile. Handled a lot better. Next part of this thing I want to look at fixing is the seat isn't really on there at all. It's just got the passenger handle strap here for the passenger to grab onto, holding the seat on. And there's our grab bar, holding on by one bolt on each side, because the aluminum is completely sheared away. It's such weak, crappy, thin gauge aluminum. But I don't know if someone was towing stuff with this, because it's got the funny little toe thing there. Can't even fit anything on that. Maybe lawn or garden implements. But maybe a skiboose. But yeah. It definitely runs better, or rides better. Sorry, steers better. You can drive with one hand now. You can almost drive with no hands. Almost drive with no hands. Steering is bent. The right side handlebar is bent. Looks like someone like flipped her, and this side's bent. This side looks pretty straight, and this one's bent. Got the windshield. Didn't have the windshield on it before. Just didn't want to spend time on it. But I just used some little bits of rope to tie it on instead of the rubber bands. I just used a little bit of rope, wrapped it around twice and tied it, and so that works. But to fix the steering on this, the guy that had it last must have taken the skis off for some reason, and the spline shaft is very fine splines, says my grandfather, and so that's what he told me. And he said it was in or out a couple of splines, so it was moved. So we had to take the exhaust. He took the exhaust off for me and fixed it. Got it aligned. So I was happy with that. Really, really happy. I'm thankful that he helped me out with that. As miserable as he is all the time, he's really handy. Very handy. And I don't know if I've really shown much on YouTube about this, but when I got it, the guy said, yeah, it looks like it has a new track on it. And lo and behold, the track it was in amazing shape. Like, it was full rubber track, and it was really nice. So I was happy with that. And when we got it, this shock broke off because the part of this rack was broke off. Like, it was like the weld had broke. So I found this suspension rack for a Ski-Doo Citation on Facebook Marketplace. And I got it for $25. And then the guy talked me into buying a pair of skis. I do need a pair of skis for the 400, so I got those. And this one had really good plastic sliders on it. The wear bar slider things there. So I didn't have to replace them. So that was good piece, good find on Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, so that's something else we want to work on, is put a piece of steel on here. You can see the holes where it's come right through the bolts. Put a piece of steel on top, a piece of steel on the sides to remount this bar. The bar might be just toast. I might look around and just find another bar, because it's snapped right here. Yeah. Whew. So that's some things that are going on around here. And finally got the rebuild kit for the 3-wheeler for the 200. I'm hoping it's just the head gasket that's the problem, but it might need new piston and rings. I don't know. But this is just a top end gasket kit with the valve seals, rubber valve seals, and some O-rings and such. A little baggie here is stuff. A collection of junk I keep buying whenever I go to Princess Auto or Crappy Tire. Keep buying spare spark plugs just in case. And then for the Spitfire's got a choke on it, but to prime it, I just put air pressure on the gas tank. Just using my mouth, I just blow air into the gas tank. And so I'm sick of doing that. It makes you a little dizzy. So I just got a primer put underneath of it to prime the fuel lines. So as long as the fuel lines are primed and the choke's on, that Spitfire will start really well. And I'm happy that it runs good. It's a very good snowmobile. The Spitfire, the 340 Spitfire, it is an amazing snowmobile. I absolutely love it. And it's so lightweight and stuff. It's a good snowmobile. So I think that it'll have some competition with the when we get this 400 running. We'll have to do a race or something, see which one's faster. I'm wondering if the direct drive on the Spitfire might be a little faster, but we'll have to see, because that 400, it's got some speed to it when you get running good, and we'll have to test it and see. Another little comment I want to make is, when you replace spark plug wires on your automotive vehicles, such as this cable here, it's a Ford pickup truck spark plug cable, and it had the end on it to go to the distributor. I just snipped it off and pulled some of the sheath back and screwed it onto the coil. And yeah, oh, that's a graphite cable. You can't use a graphite cable. Well, who's going to stop me? Graphite's better than copper in some applications. So I'm gonna look around for another car spark plug cable. It's a lot more flexible too, as well, because it's graphite and not copper like this one. It's very hard and doesn't move very well. And yes, they don't have to move very much. Yeah, I know, but I don't care. That's something else to keep in thought is, if you have some good spark plug cables off of a car that you're getting rid of, hack them off, use them for a snowmobile. Hack them off, use them for something else that's around. It just needs the one end here and then the solid wire to go into the screw-on coil. But this thing, now that it has the new crank seal, this thing's got like, ooh, it's like significant compression addition. Well, it's also a little bit of resistance from the force the crank seals are putting on the crankshaft itself. So there's a little bit of rubbing on the crankshaft, and it's, oh man, this thing's definitely more difficult to pull over, but it should be running a lot better now. Yep. But I'll save the tins for tomorrow and think about some other stuff. That's all I have to say for now. Thanks for watching, and follow the Instagram page I've got, Hoovercamaro, and like this video, and subscribe and put a comment. Thanks for watching.